Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Shalene and I just wanted to have a really important conversation with you today about finance. Because when I started looking for personal content about finance, people make it way too complicated. They talk about a Roth IRA, a HSA, a 401k, index fund, ETFs, tax bracket, capital gains tax. And I was like, okay, I'm just getting started. What do you mean? What am I actually supposed to do? And that's what I want to talk to you on Unfiltered Finance. I want to break down finance and make it simple. And a little bit about me. I graduated from UC Davis with a degree in economics. Currently, I work in corporate America. And one thing I learned about economics in school is you figure out finance in two separate ways. You learn about, in school, you learn about the different markets. You learn about supply and demand. You learn about the interest rates. You learn about all of these complicated economic theories, but you don't talk about what happens once you get your first paycheck. And you're like, once all the tax gets taken out, you're like, wait, where did all my money go? And that's when the real life lesson begins. And today, I want to talk to you about one of my biggest financial goals this year that I'm personally working towards. My first $100,000 invested. And I'm not talking about some theoretical number. I am telling you what I'm actually doing. And I'm filming here sitting right now and I'm at $82,000 invested. I am $18,000 away from my goal. My goal is to hit $100,000 invested by the end of the year, and I want to document my journey. I actually want to show you my real numbers, and I want to show you where I'm putting my money, what happens when I change and tweak my investments. And I just want to have an honest conversation because life doesn't always go to plan, and I'll explain along the way. But I want to show you what real finance looks like. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your research. I am showing you what I'm doing with my own money, what lessons I've learned. So please, please, please do your own research. Your financial situation may look a lot different from mine. And hopefully, if you watch this video, you could see what I'm doing, maybe take some lessons and tweak it to your plan or your, like, whatever works for you. So let's talk about the first $100,000. And Charlie Munger said, the first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it. And honestly, I love how blunt that is, because he's not saying your first $100,000 is easy. He's saying the opposite. It is hard. And I think that's something we all need to hear, because when you look at social media today, you see somebody who's 25 years old and has $500,000 invested, or somebody made $100,000 trading options, or somebody else just retired at 30. And I'm sitting here thinking, am I behind? Am I doing something wrong? Am I just in the beginning? Why am I working it too, like, why is it working so slow? But when you're starting from zero, you're almost doing all the work. You're earning the money. You are saving the money. You are investing the money. And you are just in the waiting game. And you're repeating and waiting and waiting. And you look at your investments and you're thinking, why isn't this growing faster? Because in the beginning, you are the engine. You are contributing and doing the heavy lifting. And that's what I wanted to show you. And I made this chart. I'm going to insert it here because I think when you see the actual numbers and you see how the money starts compounding, and I want to make it more simple. So let's just say you're starting with zero and you have $1,000 invested every single month. For example, we're going to use this hypothetical 10% return. And the reason I'm saying hypothetical, because it's not a guarantee. The stock market doesn't give you $10,000 every year. Some years it's going to be great. Some years it's going to be terrible. But on average, the stock market usually gives you 10%. So some years you may lose money, some years you may gain money. And the point of this example is I just want to make sure it's simple and showing how compound interest can work alongside you over a long period of time. So let's start from zero, and you're putting $1,000 a month in your investments every single month. And according to this graph right here, how long it takes you to reach $100,000. It's about 6 years. Think about it. If you're starting today and you wake up, 6 years from now, you'll hit $100,000 if you're investing $1,000 a month. And that's a long time, because month after month, year after year, and then you finally hit $100,000. That's a long time. It can get frustrating because you're putting the money in, you're watching the market, you're checking your account, and sometimes you feel like nothing is happening, but something is happening. You are building a foundation, and that's something that's really interesting when you start to get to your first $100,000. Now that you have your first $100,000 working for you, you continue contributing, and you get to your next $200,000. And with a hypothetical 10% return, you will hit that. For the first 100,000 is 6 years. The second one is at 10 years. So think about it. It took you 6 years to hit $100,000, but it only took you 4 years to hit another $100,000, and you're still investing with the same $1,000 a month. And suddenly, you're not putting $5,000 in the market, but the difference that you see now from $100,000 invested, your money has time to grow. Your money is working alongside your contributions. And then you get to your $300,000. This is where I look at this chart and I'm like, that's only 12 or 13 years. And you're going from $200,000 to $300,000 in less than 3 years. Think about it. Your first $100,000, it took you 6 years. Your second $100,000, it took you less than 4 years. Your third $100,000 took you less than 3 years. And you're still using the same $1,000 invested every month. But that's the power of compounding. Now, your fourth $400,000, like let's just say 15 years, and that only takes you 2 years. So the time between each milestone gets shorter and shorter. And then $500,000. It takes about 16 and a half years, right? But now you're sitting there at $500,000. And this is where the math gets really interesting. Because if you have $500,000 invested with the hypothetical 10% return on that, the money grows $50,000. And again, I'm not saying you're gonna make $50,000 every year. I am showing you what the market can do for you. You could have so much more, you could have so much less, you could lose money, or I'm just simply showing you if you were getting a 10% return with $500,000, you're gonna have $50,000. So if you have $10,000 invested, you're only getting $1,000. The money looks a lot different, but once your portfolio starts growing, the percentage changes. The amount of money, the percentage you put in changes, right? So the bigger the portfolio is, the more money. So now let's talk about 600. It takes about 18 years, 700,000, 19 and a half years, $800,000 takes 20 years, and then 900 to $1 million takes about a year. Under the same hypothetical example, $1 million takes about 22 years to achieve. And I want you to start to really think about it, because if you're starting from zero, having $1,000 invested, and you give your investments time to grow, that's the important part. The journey from zero to $1 million isn't linear. And looking at this chart, it takes time. But the first $100,000 is the hardest. And the next $100,000 starts taking less, and then less and less. Because your money is now compounding on top of itself. And That's exactly why I'm focused on getting my first $100,000. Not because it's some magical number, because I want to build a foundation. I want to get to my first milestone out of the way. I want to have a strong foundation, and then I want to build on top of it. So let's look at my current finances right now. Where I'm putting my $100,000 is gonna be in my Roth IRA, my HSA, my Roth 401k, and anything left over just goes into my brokerage account. And I'm not saying everyone watching should do this exactly the same thing I'm doing. This is just my strategy. I'm showing you what I'm doing. Your situation can be completely different. And I think that's the important lesson here. When you're investing, it isn't like, what stock should I buy? That is important, but it is equally as important is where I should put my money in. Because my tax advantage strategy is putting all my money in a Roth. So I can pay taxes on that money now. And so when I withdraw with the bigger amounts, I don't have to pay. It depends the time horizon. It just matters what your situation is. And yes, when I went to school, I learned all of this theories and econ, but doing this is a lot harder. And I want to make it simple. So this is what Unfiltered Finance is all going to be about. I'm not sitting here and I'm telling you this some hypothetical number. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. In August, I'm going to be investing approximately $3,500 this month. And I'm doing bi-weekly $1,700, and I'll put it up here. So I'm putting $500 in my HSA. I'm doing that every 2 weeks. About $918.75 in my Roth IRA, Roth 401k, and then $300 every 2 weeks in my Roth IRA. And yes, that is a lot of money, and I'm not going to pretend it isn't. But here's the important part. You don't have to invest $3,500 a month to build wealth. That is what my number is. And well, I can't say what your financial situation looks like. My message is just figure out where you can invest. Maybe it's just the $50 this month. Maybe it's $100, $500, or $1,000. Or maybe like me, it's $3,500 this month, but the numbers can change. Your income matters. Your expenses change, and that matters. Your priorities this month, you could be building an emergency fund. People have different habits, and something I've learned along working in corporate America is your salary isn't your wealth. Your salary is just your fuel. What you do with the fuel matters, because you can make $60,000, or you can make $100,000, or you can make $200,000. And every dollar gets spent and you're not building wealth. On the other hand, you could take a portion of your income and consistently invest. And over a long period of time, that can become something very significant. One of the biggest traps I see is lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise, suddenly you think, maybe I need a nicer car, or I need a nicer apartment, or I need to travel more, or I can eat more, or I'm just gonna enjoy these little things. And that is important. You should enjoy it. Money is a tool where you should enjoy life, but also pay your future self. Because I also want your net worth to increase as your income does. I want your money to start working for you. And your future, you will thank you, I promise you, if you just make these sacrifices now. And that's the biggest lesson I've learned. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to deprive yourself. You don't have to spend everything you have. Just take a portion, start investing consistently. And that's what I'm trying to build here. I want to show you and just be real with you, right? September and October is going to look a little different for me because I am taking a sabbatical. I'm not going to be investing exactly the same amount I'm investing in August. The numbers are going to look a little different because personal finance, you should incorporate it in your life and how it works for you. Your life changes, life happens. Unexpected emergency fund needs to be replenished. Um, Life happens, to be very honest with you, and sometimes some months you might hit your goals, some months you don't. And if you fail one month, it doesn't matter. Just adjust, keep on going. Because for me, September and October are gonna look different. I get to go on my vacation. But November, December, I'm coming back strong and I wanna hit my goal. Approximately, I'm at $82,000 invested. I am $18,000 away. And I wanna finish this year with $100,000 invested. And I'm gonna keep documenting it because I think that's something really powerful and actually showing you the progress, not just showing you the final number. Because I want to show you the boring months and I want to show you the months I've invested a lot. I want to show you how life does happen, but if you keep going, just keep putting your money in consistently, what happens when the market goes up and what happens when the market goes down. And that is real investing, right? And that's what I want this unfiltered finance to be about. When we talk about real numbers, real progress, no pretending. And now I want to just don't want you to compare your life to me. Mine could look a lot worse or better. But when you go to social media, just looking at it right now, it's just like, oh my God, I hit $1 million at 25. I wish that was me, but neither you're behind or you're ahead. Everybody's on their own journey and everybody has their own situation. It doesn't matter where you are, you should just start because life happens and you keep on going, right? One month might look good, one month look bad. But please don't compare yourself to everybody. Everybody is on a different journey, but let's figure out what personal finance really looks like for you. And I want to look at this back and celebrate. And I want to say there's so much I have learned when I invested my first $50,000, my $100,000. And that's what progress looks like. Because if you had to start from zero and started investing $1,000, that's a progress. If you hit $50,000, that's progress. And currently I'm at $82,000 and that's really progress. And I'm not saying that because I'm embarrassed I'm only at $82,000. I'm really proud of myself that I've hit that number. And when I hit $1 million, I'm gonna be so happy. And I'm building from scratch, right? Building takes time. Building a foundation is big. So my first $100,000 is an actual testament to my sacrifice, my time. And I'm not trying to just pick like stocks. I just invest in certain index funds and I'm trying to keep the life inflation low, but also enjoying life at the same time. So you're not gonna get on this channel, you're not gonna get rich overnight. You're gonna have to be patient, and honestly, building wealth is pretty boring if you do it the right way. And I think that's something we need to embrace. And I know it's not exciting. You're not gonna wake up and suddenly your portfolio is at 20%. I mean, maybe some months, some years, yes. But overall, it's boring. You're just gonna have to keep putting in every 2 weeks from your paycheck into your investment portfolio. And suddenly, when I hit my first $100,000, I promise you guys, I will be drinking champagne and telling you that we've actually done it, and that's huge. And it's a mindset shift because investing that much money in your future self, it seems boring sometimes. But please guys, because if we get there and you have the money, you could do so much with it in your future. So again, I'm going to be sharing on here how much I invest, how much I spend, how the market is doing. And there's some things I can't control, but I'm putting my money and my energy on things I can. And my goal, my really big goal is the end of the year is $100,000. And once I get there, I'm going to be sharing what lessons I've learned. Because again, you saw the chart, the first year could take, first $100,000 can take about 6 years. And yes, I have learned so much about myself, about spending what I had to do to just learn to be patient and building a base and then potentially compounding for decades. So when you hit your first $100,000, I'm going to celebrate. And if you're new to this channel, please, please, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. I love making these personal content finance for you guys. And I want to share the journey. I want to make a community where you can just come and be transparent about money. And along the way, if you guys like something like this, please, please, please hit the like and subscribe button. And please comment where you're watching this from. If you're new here, please welcome to my channel. My name is Shalene and this is Unfiltered, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.